We've got a model up here ready to go, and we've checked out what summarizing it means. But what we'll do first is create some callbacks. So let's make a little heading here, and you might be wondering, well, what are callbacks? And that's what we're going to dive into in this lesson. And we'll write down here, callbacks are helper functions a model can use during training to do such things as save its progress, check its progress, or stop training early if a model stops improving. And plus there's a few more. These are just a few things, and these are the ones that we're going to implement. Now, you might be wondering, why should we implement callback? If you want to find out a bit more about model callbacks, we can go TensorFlow, Keras model callbacks. And this is going to bring up the documentation. Keras custom callbacks. Excellent. So there's a few more callbacks that we can do in there. Oh, there's one, TensorBoard. We're going to be setting that up. And so while a model's training, because it can be training for a long time, you might want to figure out what it's actually doing. So there are times where once you scale up your models, our model won't take this long, but you could be training a model for up to a week at a time, especially some of the biggest deep learning models. And so if your model is training for a week, you're probably going to want to know, how's it going, what's it doing, and if it's training for too long, yes, that's a thing, you probably want to stop it early before it begins to overfit. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's create a couple of callbacks so we can see it in action. That's going to help solidify what's going on. Same with what's going on up here. This function's a fair bit to take in, but once we start to use it, once we start to train a model, you'll start to see what's happening. Now, what two callbacks do we want to make? We'll create two callbacks. One for TensorBoard, which helps track our model's progress, and another for early stopping, which prevents our model from training for too long. Now, these are a couple of handy callbacks that you can create with basically any model. It's just TensorBoard, which is like a dashboard for seeing how well your model's doing, seeing its progress, seeing that the loss function is getting reduced and that the accuracy is going up. They're the two main ones we'll be looking for. An early stopping callback is something that if our model is training for too long and it's stopped improving, before it overfits, we want it to stop training. So let's go here. We'll go TensorFlow callback. Oh, no, we want TensorBoard. TensorBoard. So let's see. We might actually go in here, callbacks, TensorBoard, and see what it says. There we go. There's the documentation for the TensorBoard callback. But let's code it up first. So to load TensorBoard into the notebook, you can go load. There's a magic function, TensorBoard notebook extension. We go load extend TensorBoard. Wonderful. So that's going to load the TensorBoard extension into our notebook so we can have a look at TensorBoard inside here, inside the Colab notebook. And now we're going to see this in a moment, so just bear with me. To set up a TensorBoard callback, we need to do three things. Maybe four, that was number one. So let's write that here. To set up a TensorBoard callback, we need to do three things. Actually, it's three things. That was the first one. Number one, if I could type, this would be amazing. Load the TensorBoard notebook extension. We're going to put a little green check mark there. And then number two is create a TensorBoard callback, which is able to save logs to a directory. So basically these logs are how our model is doing during training, and pass it to our model's fit function. Now we haven't seen the fit function just yet, but it's very similar to the one you've seen before in scikit-learn. And we go here, visualize our model's training logs with TensorBoard magic function. We'll do this after model training. Wonderful. So let's now create a function. We'll do step 2 here. So the first thing we have to do is import datetime, because our TensorBoard callback, we want to be able to track each experiment. And one of the best ways to track an experiment is by the time that you ran that experiment. So that's why we need datetime to access the current date and time. You'll see this in a minute. So we'll go here, create a function to build a TensorBoard callback. Make it nice and simple. Create TensorBoard callback. And then here, what we're going to do is create a log directory for storing TensorBoard logs. So what we might set up is just a logs file in our dog vision project. I want dog vision, yes, and new folder. I'm going to call this logs. So this is where we're going to store all of the logs for our TensorBoard callback. So we'll X out of that. And now we'll go logdir, create a variable os path join. So this is short for, it's just accessing path names. We need to have access to the path of this logs file. So that's what we're doing here. And we'll create drive / my drive / dog vision / logs. And then we're going to join it with, so make it so the logs get tracked whenever we run an experiment. So every time we fit our model, we want to create some training logs for the current date and time. So this is where we access datetime, .datetime.now, .string. This line here is just saying, hey, get the exact current time. So in my case, it would be Tuesday, 5:25 p.m. And we're going to go string from time. We can do almost any format you want here, but we'll go for a pretty standard one of year, month, day, hour, minute, second. So the log directory, every time we run this function, it's going to create a path in logs with the name appended to it of the current date time. Does that make sense? Well, we'll see it when we run it anyway. And then we want to return tf.kerras.callbacks.tensorboard. And we want to pass it logdir. So see here, enable visualizations for TensorBoard. TensorBoard is a visualization tool provided with TensorFlow. Beautiful. So this callback logs events for TensorBoard, including metric summary plots, training graph visualizations. Beautiful, that's what we want. And we need to pass it a logdir, the path of the directory where to save the log files to be passed by TensorFlow. That's exactly what we've created. So, little green tick here, come on. There we go, my emojis. Wonderful. And we'll run that. So we've got our first callback, create TensorBoard callback. Now, in the next video, we're going to create an early stopping callback. And then we might be able to start getting our model ready to train. Oh, actually, we're probably ready to train now. Because we're setting up these experiments that we want to be able to run back to back to back, this is why we're creating callbacks ready to go. So I'll see you in the next video. We'll create an early stopping callback.